Well, it's September the 11th, and it is the 19th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks in New York. You know, the day that those two scumbags who were the henchmen of Osama bin Laden flew those two planes into the World Trade Center building and killed a lot of people. I mean, it didn't kill everybody. I mean, it killed some people and it like messed some people up. And after that day, in 2001, I mean, the country was so quiet. Everybody was treating each other nice. I mean, everybody was like offering each other seats on a subway in New York. I mean, and talk shows were being serious. Everybody was like talking to each other. About different things. To comfort each other after that horrible day. And I noticed something. Like after after September 11th, 2001. I mean, everybody in New York City. I mean, New York, one of the rudest cities in America. People there were treating each other nice. And they were. I mean, why come Americans just stay that way, But they just do it because what happened in 9/11 after those two pieces of shit flew those planes in the World Trade Center building. I mean, after that day, everybody just treated each other nice. And after all that's over, it just back to business. Yeah, being a toxic, loop-sided, unfriendly, cruel society. I'm not saying that all Americans are like that. And yeah, in the previous video, I went back and forth with a crazy, mindless, conceited, arrogant patriot, American patriot who said that he loved this country. He proud. Well, he doesn't love. He didn't say he loved the country. He said he's proud to be an American. Yeah, proud to be an American. Talking about freedom and full freedom. If we don't have freedom, we'd be under a tyranny. And I still don't agree with America staying on as the 13 original colonies on the east coast of North America and morphing into another country. And he's just one guy who just didn't see what I see. I'm just saying that because it was just a thought. Okay. The guy, he was insulting my intelligence, and he was doing a lot of gaslighting. He was calling me, he was saying that I was stroking my ego. How can you accuse me of stroking my ego, and you're talking about you being proud to be an American, and I love this country. No, he didn't say I love this country. He said I'm proud to be an American, and racism. Why you have to bring racism into this? And yeah, and all this stuff. Like you're talking about full freedom and proud to be an American, and you're saying that I have an ego. What I said to him, I was just saying it straight from the heart. I wasn't just saying that just to stroke my ego. That guy was just doing a lot of gaslighting. You know, some things he was right on, some things he was wrong on. I mean, I think the guy's just delusional. And I am, I dealt with people like him in the past, and I have, And he says he doesn't care about 6,000 Americans moving overseas and the numbers growing by the minute. And he said he doesn't care about them, and that's up to them. And that's true. I mean, if he wants to stay in this country of how bad, how messed up it is, well, that's him. Speaking of this, I mean, someone gave me a request to make a video about toxicity in family members and domestic violence as well as child abuse. And also, they want me to do a video about arrogant, rude, ignorant, toxic people. Yeah, I think I can do that video. Okay, yeah, okay, where do I begin? Okay, yeah, and this person wants me to do this request. He's from Canada, and you know, I don't know nothing about how families are in Canada, but I can tell you how families are here in America. Um, yeah, there's some families, not all, who are dysfunctional. You have some families that like that tear each other down. They ignore each other and leave each other out in everyday discussions. If they have a disability. Yeah, and yeah, some family members like bring the worst out in other family members. Like they just like talk down to them, bully them, steal money from them, take advantage of them, manipulate them, being a con artist towards them. Yeah, and that family member sees this and just loses it and just goes and attacks that family member. Like punch the family member in the face or lose it, and the family member will turn around and run away and lock the door and call the police, and the family member who did all the abuse to that family member who did all that who did all the bullying, all the gaslighting, and yeah, that family member ended up being in prison from that toxic family member who caused that family member to do what he or she did to that family member. And that goes on in other families. Like there's a guy like by the name of Dog G. His sister punched him in the face when he was a child because he wanted because he changed the radio station on a car radio in a car, and his mom and dad left him standing outside in his underwear and while it was raining at night, and he got sick, and he grew up and he's all fucked up. Yeah, and you got married people, married people. Some married couples, not all, just they get married and it doesn't matter. Well, it's gonna be like this. Like if the wife, it'd be like the wife. The wife will go around, taking all the man's stuff out of his house, and putting it in a room, like just to change things, like her, and she just like decorates the entire house and just has everything in the house that's her and nothing in the house that's the husband. The husband doesn't have anything, but the wife does. The wife has everything in the house, and the husband has nothing in the house. You know, and yeah, you got some women in this country who is like this. You got some who aren't like this, and you got some women overseas who are like this as well. Yeah, you know. Then you flip the switch. You got the husband. Okay, like I heard about this guy in Spain who, I mean, he didn't like what his wife did to him. I don't know what happened to him that triggered him to do this horrible stuff to him. He poured gasoline on her and lit a match and dropped a match on her and set her on fire. And I heard about this on the BBC World Service, and it was just terrible, really. You know, yeah, and the in the toxicity of family members that with they come from a toxic, dysfunctional family, and like this guy who I had a war with in the previous video on this channel, which is titled "This is why American society is fucked up too." And I had a back and forth with Crusader Wolf, who was just this excuse me, he was this hardcore American patriot who is proud to be an American, who loves freedom. We have freedom. If you don't have freedom, we be under a tyranny, and you should respect the Constitution more. And I'll listen to how this guy talks, and he was everything I said to him. He insulted my intelligence. He did a lot of gaslighting towards me and accused me of stroking my ego saying this and telling me the things like while saying to him like racism in America and what happened to George Floyd and other innocent and other innocent unarmed black people being shot and killed. He accused me of stroking my ego and saying what I was saying was unnecessary and telling him that and telling him I had a learning disability, and he said that I was using the mental disability card and saying that it was pathetic, and he's saying that what I was saying to him I was just making an excuse. It seems to me that this guy he was angry and bitter about something. Like I think people in the past like just drove him to be like that, and he had parents who were hardcore and who was hard on him, and he was annoyed by dumb people, and he just became the way he is. I think this guy was just angry and bitter and just impossible. Basically, this guy was just an asshole. He was just an angry, bitter asshole who just likes to go around and do a lot of gaslighting and insulting people's intelligence, and he just got this obsession of he doesn't like the fact that Americans and people who aren't Americans who talk about, oh, what if America stayed on as the 13 original colonies on the east coast of Britain. And he read that comment that I put down on this video about the difference between American police and British police. He came across my comment, which got 6 likes, by the way, and he just lost it, and he just went at me about it. He went crazy. It's because he probably just raised in a bitter, toxic society. Here in America, like a bitter, toxic, dysfunctional family, and people around him who drove him to be like that. I was on the verge of being like this guy, but I didn't. And also, by the way, I went to school with someone like that, and I have. And I punched him in the face when he went and kissed me on the cheek. This guy, in Crusader Wolf was, he talked about he was for guns and saying that the police need guns. The police needs guns as needed to protect them. And he's going after the police officers being ignorant and shooting and killing people. and he ignored the fact that innocent unarmed black people are being killed, and he lied and said that racism has nothing to do with it, and black people and had nothing, innocent black people had nothing to do with why those why these white police officers are killing these unarmed black people, and tell me why bring race into this. Race has nothing to do with this, and he's wrong, and race does have something to do with this. And, I'm not much of a patriot. I respect the men and women who fought in the war, who fought in wars in this country, and I gave props to Doc G, who I used to sub to, and he served in the military. And he traveled the world, and he says something. He tell the truth about America, and he's not brainwashed by like Crusader Wolf. And I thanked him for his service, and he told me this: "Thank you for the props, brother." He's a cool guy, and he just fell off when he made a video about having sex with married women, and your wife owns my BBC. That's just the fact that him being that way from being in a screwed up family, and I try to comment on his videos. After I unsubscribe to him, I try to comment on his videos, and I think he's deleting my, I think he's deleting my comments after I commented on one of his videos. Maybe the fact that he's one of those hardcore MGTOW guys. I got nothing against these MGTOW guys. Some say these MGTOW guys are assholes. Some of these guys are reasonable. Some of them are just assholes, and some of them are just god awfully nuts. I don't hate the MGTOW movement. But I said this in a previous video. There's no unity in the MGTOW movement. It's like the MGTOW guys don't care about one another. If a MGTOW guy gets hurt or gets killed, other MGTOW guys, other red pill MGTOW guys won't care, And and the same thing goes with people in the Me Too movement and the third wave radical feminism movement. Same thing, and they're both doing a considerable amount of damage in society, and some, yeah, I respect the MGTOW guys, but I like what they're saying, but at the same time they're doing damage just like the radical feminists are doing damage to society, and yeah, and here in America, people are individuals. People don't care about one another, and they don't care what happens to one another. And you got these hardcore patriots who are proud to be an American, and they don't care about Americans suffering, struggling through this pandemic, struggling through this depression and recession. They don't care. They don't care about other Americans, but they're proud to be an American, and they're proud to have freedom, and they're always quoting things from the Constitution. And Crusader Wolf is one of these guys. I'm gonna say this. I think these guys need to brush up on their history. When the Constitution was created, the Constitution wasn't for Native Americans and African Americans. It was for white people. White people who escaped the British government from Great Britain. The Constitution was for them. It wasn't for black people and Native Americans. And if I tell Crusader Wolf this, he wouldn't care. He'll say that I'm stroking my ego and saying what I'm saying is pathetic and what I'm saying is unnecessary, and just basically insulting my intelligence, and do a lot of gaslighting towards me to make me feel bad about myself, make me just blow up, get angry, lose it, grab a gun, and go in a mass shooting. And Crusader Wolf is one of these people in America who would drive someone to go on a mass shooting. I mean, I can't believe I almost cried in that previous video. I mean, I just wimped up and became a bitch. You know, in this video, I'm not gonna be a bitch. You know, guys like Crusader Wolf are nothing more but a bunch of arrogant, ignorant, toxic, worthless people here in America who drive people to lose it, make them feel bad about themselves, and commit suicide. And this guy doesn't give a damn about disabled people. And disabled people are being mistreated, and they don't matter. I mean, they're put to death on death row in Texas and other states. They're, I mean, one got hit by someone in a white van. I mean, one got shot and killed by a bunch of police who had Down syndrome, and I think this other guy who got hit by a white van who was riding his bicycle on the road had Down syndrome as well. And this guy, if you talk to him, if you have a disability, he wouldn't care. He would just view you as someone who just used the mental disability race card and saying that you're pathetic. This guy is outrageous. He's out there. He's nuts. He doesn't give a damn about anybody. How can you be proud to be an American if you don't give a damn about other Americans? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And he doesn't care about the truth of how America is. He talk about we're Americans. America has full freedom. There's no freedom in America. America is not a free country. And this freedom thing doesn't make any sense. How can you say you and everybody in America is free and you got rules, laws, and regulations to obey, and you got a boss to answer to? You got a boss to answer to on a job. And you got guys like him going around creating a toxic, unfriendly environment, and you got families who are toxic and arrogant and ignorant towards each other. They tear each other down. They rip each other apart. It's funny, we got poor people in America go around tearing each other down, ripping each other apart. Where we got some rich asshole with a handful of money running out the back door because of a broken tax system that favors him and screw poor people left and right. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to be political in this video, I'm trying not to, But anyway, yeah, you got child abuse where parents just beat their children, with belts and tree branches and switches from trees. You got domestic violence where the man and the woman beat each other, over an argument over something. And going back to child abuse, children being beaten by their parents with belts and switches and open fist and all because they didn't do well in school and they did wrong, and I was beaten with belts and switches by my parents, and I grew up and I'm all messed up and screwed up inside, That drove me to lose it and destroy things and hurt people. And it did, it brought out the worst in me. And it did, If I get mad and blow up and go after people like Crusader Wolf will probably like pull out a gun and shoot me and kill me. Speaking of guys like Crusader Wolf, they do all that negative toxic bashing. He did all that negative toxic bashing towards me on a comment section on a video about American police versus British police. And he talks all big because he's hiding behind a keyboard and a computer screen, and he has a gun with him. If he didn't have a gun and he wasn't behind a computer screen and a keyboard, and he was face to face with me, and he said the things that he's saying to me in those comments, I'll probably kick his ass. I'll probably beat the shit out of him. And I feel that he was just way, way, way out of line. And he was. There's some things I agree with him on. There's some things I don't agree with him on. But, the freedom thing and the Constitution, he's wrong, Yeah, everything we say is protected under the Constitution. But, does he know that if you say certain things here on YouTube in a comment section or on a YouTube video that's posted on your channel, YouTube will remove it and give you a warning, or better yet, they'll give you a community guideline strike. And they give you 3 community guideline strikes, they'll delete your channel. If you leave a comment saying what you're saying in that video that they deleted, they'll delete the comment. There's no freedom here in America. Freedom is limited. There's certain things you can say, there's certain things you cannot say in a comment section on YouTube or in a YouTube video on your channel, or saying things at your job. If you say something that's against in a job, you lose your job. And Crusader Wolf has no clue. He talking about other countries like Canada. Like he told me that Canada and countries in Europe will throw you in jail if you say something slightly wrong. Like if you talk about racism, if you talk about something that's against the law or something like that in those countries, you get thrown in jail because they don't have freedom. And that's a lie, He's saying that these countries have tyranny. America has tyranny. Look around you, but if I tell him that, he's going to do all that gaslighting towards me and saying what I'm saying is unnecessary and what I'm saying is pathetic, and me pulling the mental disability card is pathetic and it's unnecessary, and I'm stroking my ego. Basically, he's putting me down, insulting my intelligence, and accusing me of stroking my ego. I don't like people with an ego. How can I be stroking my ego, and what I'm saying to him in that previous video, and what I was saying to him was straight from the heart, and I was being honest. And yeah, okay, yeah. And he said I'm stroking my ego, and he's the one who's stroking his ego. Like, guys like him are just in denial. They just want to just put all this bullshit on you and hide how they are. And that in itself is pathetic, And yeah, child abuse and domestic violence and toxicity in families will create guys like me and Crusader Wolf, and that is a big problem and those are the problems that are going on here in America. And it's funny, back on September the 11th, 2001. I mean, after that date, I mean, people in New York were being nice to each other. They were offering each other seats on the subway and being nice to each other. I mean, I think New Yorkers and Americans in general should remain that way after 9/11 because let's face it, I mean, we're all Americans. We should care about one another. We should help each other out. I mean, it's like this. I mean, if someone from another country comes and attack us, they're not. I mean, they're not just hurting that person and their families. They're hurting us all. And I think Crusader Wolf should have that mindset. I think these hardcore patriots should have that. I'm not much of a patriot, but part of me loves this country. Part of me is just disgusted of how this country is, how toxic, loose-sided, unfriendly, backwards, and evil this country is. And Crusader Wolf went at me and saying that I'm saying that all Americans are evil. Well, what I was trying to say is, I ain't saying that all Americans are evil. There's some good people in this country. There's some people who aren't that great in this country, and the ones who aren't that great is Crusader Wolf. Okay. Yeah. Toxicity in families lead to people being antisocial, cliquish. People don't like to talk to strangers. People don't like to meet other people. Everybody's in a bubble. And the only time people talk to each other if it's business related. And then you got the women who are narcissistic, picky, toxic. They call men who like them, who want to talk to them, who want to be with them in a relationship. They view them as creeps, perverts, pedophiles, sickos, you name it. You name it. Yeah, the women in America are, they're not sweet, feminine, down to earth, easy to talk to, and they're not approachable. They just have bad attitudes, nasty attitudes, horrible attitudes, and some of them are like, some of them just like look at you with a dirty look on their faces and say this like, "Are you for real? Get the hell away from me, you creep," and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why a lot of men in America that's why men like Elliot Rogers, Nicholas Cruz, and George Sudini and myself are lonely. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, and that's straight out of a family with toxicity, a toxic family. Yeah, yeah, I think I say this. Yeah, a lot of families are not close. Like, some of them are, some aren't. I ain't saying all families are toxic. Some families get along with one another, and some don't. You know, the individual who's been torn down by a toxic society full of rude, arrogant, ignorant people, and a family that's very dysfunctional. Their family who is very dysfunctional, and being picked on, yelled at, walked all over, um, receive a lot of gaslighting from a person, um, unnecessary verbal abuse, you name it. I mean, and people saying, I don't give a damn about you. I don't care what you do. I could care less what happens to you. That will lead to someone to cry, get angry, lose it, start screaming and shouting and going crazy, and commit suicide, or grab a gun and shoot and kill people, shoot and kill people, turn a gun on himself, shoot him, or worse, get shot and killed by police. You know, I mean, that society with all of that here in America is just not good for somebody at all. And all those things that I just brought out is the problem here in America. I mean, those are one of the problems here in America. And I watched a video from a from a you from someone on YouTube. Is a video. I don't know, remember what his name is. He talked about what Winston Wu, who's the owner of Happier Abroad, and he watched one of his videos from Winston's Happier Abroad YouTube channel, and he talked about what is he talked about? He talked about high school has failed on teaching people. High school students, I mean, high school failed in teaching students to how to socialize, how to treat each other right, how to talk to people. They failed on that. And that's true. He also talked about people being in cliques, people being in groups. You had, and people are cliquish. They have to be in a certain. I mean, they had to be in a clique / group of their own. I mean, they can't venture into another clique or group. If they do, it's forbidden. You'll be pushed away. Yeah, and everybody's isolated. Everybody's in bubbles. Everybody's on social media. Nobody talks to one another. And yeah, if you try to talk to someone on social media, they'll ignore you. Yeah. I mean, that happened to me on Facebook when I was talking to people who I went to school with. But yeah, and you got people being paranoid, fearful of others, and they look down on people, think that they're scumbags, think they're worthless and nothing. It's ridiculous. It's kind of sad. And I noticed something. I remember I was talking to some Brits, people from the UK, the United Kingdom, and they're less toxic. And they are. They're less toxic. They don't tear you down. They don't bring out the worst in you or nothing. Yeah, some of them are friendly, like the ones that live in the northern part of the UK, and you got the ones who live in the southern part of the UK, which is London. They tend to be rude, you know, and some Brits brought to the light that all British people, well, not no, well, people who live in the United Kingdom have different accent. You got the British / English accent in England. You got the Welsh accent of Wales, and you got the Scottish accent of Wales, of Scotland. I mean, then you got Northern Ireland, which has, I don't know, it's maybe the accent is similar to the Irish accent in the Republic of Ireland. And in the UK, got a glimpse of the British people in the comment section. They're less toxic. They're not over the top toxic like here in America. Like You don't feel hurt and ripped apart and destroyed and feel down in the dumps from these people. You don't. Yeah, and I'm aware that some of them are rude, which are the people live in London, and some who are friendly are the ones who live in northern in the northern part of the UK. Yeah, and also I know that there's some words that you get that you can't say in the UK like you do here in America. Like for instance, if you tell a British person nice pants, and they'll look at you with a shocked look or a look of disgust from you. I mean, yeah, because their slang, is like this. I mean, you're supposed to say trousers. You'll say like nice trousers. Yeah, just because they speak English, just if you're an American and just because they speak English like you, I mean, or if you're from any other anglophone country, I mean, just because people in Britain speak English just like you doesn't mean they say the same words as you. I mean, they have the British slang, but overall, the people in Britain are less toxic, and they are compared to people in America who are just over the top toxic. You know, I met some good people from the UK like Para Reg, Francis D, um, others. You know, and in Crusader Wolf was a nutcase. I was talking like the Brits. In the comment on one of the videos that we were on. I was just talking like them just to get on their good side. And Crusader Wolf saw this and accused me of being British. He went and trolled me. And he's one of these people in America who are just super hardcore toxic. Well, the problem is Americans don't care about one another. I mean, everybody see themselves as individuals, not a unit like in other countries. Everybody see themselves as individuals. Too much individuality in this country. I mean, when it comes to voting, nobody votes for the same thing. Everybody wants something. Everybody wants different things. Everybody doesn't want the same thing that other people have. Everybody's wants and needs are not the same as others. You know, and being individuals, just care about having personal freedoms and being free, and don't care about like people like losing their homes through a pandemic, people going through hard times because of a government that doesn't give a damn about poor rural poor everyday people. Yeah, I mean, and you got people who do a lot of gaslighting, being toxic to one another by being toxic, negative, rude, arrogant, being fearful of one another, think everybody's a threat. You know, you got these hardcore patriots. They care about the police. They want the police to be heavily armed with guns to protect themselves. And I'm not for defunding the police. Defunding the police, that's the most dumbest thing ever. And also, and I heard this from my father, inside the law enforcement community, between officers, police officers don't talk to one another, if they're not responding to calls or anything or doing their job. They don't talk to one another. Everybody is in cliques, just like regular people. Everybody's in cliques. It doesn't matter if you're a police officer or not. That police officer who's in a clique don't want to talk to you. They're in cliques. Yeah, I know some don't want to talk to you. I mean, if they're busy, if you run into them at a gas station, they're busy and they got things to in their own duty. I understand it, but if they're not off duty, a lot of police officers, are cliquish. And I ain't saying they're all cliquish. Some police officers are cliquish, and they don't care about one another. All they care about is writing the most traffic tickets, arresting the most people, so they can get a promotion. And they're doing this just to step on the feet and hands and heads and faces of other police officers. And the truth is, they don't care about one another. Not all. So I remember I lost my car. I remember I thought I got my car stolen at this mall in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. Is a city that's across from the Red River in Shreveport in Louisiana. I went to the Pierre Bossier Mall. I went to buy some things. And when I came out, I called 911 and I went. And after I called 911, tell them I lost my car and reported that. I thought my car got stolen. Okay, I got in a car. Okay, I went to a police officer, and a police officer. I told a police officer my problem. Now he checked me out. He said, "You have guns, knives, and weapons on you?" I said, "No, I don't." And he let me get into the police car. And, I got into the back of the police car. It was kind of like uncomfortable, and it was, no comfort for criminals. I mean, yeah, the police officer, he was talking to me when he was helping me looking for my car. He was talking to me about his wife and going to a cornfield or something about that, like everyday stuff, like with regular people. Back then, this was back in 2009. I was bitter, I was angry, because I worked at a toxic work environment. And the world, after I got out of high school, just brought out the worst in me. And I'm not like that anymore. Thanks to Winston Wu and me discovering his Happier Abroad YouTube channel in a video about 3 taboo truths about America. Yeah, and guys like Crusader Wolf, they don't care about like how police officers are, and they don't care about how other people are, And I told him stuff like that, and he deflected that and said that, oh, there's some people that you ran into, some bad people like that, saying that, he's saying that like all people in America are bad, some people are bad, some are not, and I agree with him on that, But he doesn't see what Winston Wu sees. He probably if he discovers Winston Wu's YouTube channel, he probably call him a nut case and say that he's stroking his ego and everything he says is unnecessary and all this. There's a country that's similar to America in toxicity, and that country is north of America. And it's called Canada, and I got a lot of comments from a bunch of Canadians who bash me, who make fun of how I talk, and one Canadian told me this on a video that I have posted up on this account titled 56 Reasons Why Canada 56 Reasons Why Canada Sucks. This guy has the nerve to say this to me. Get to the point. Nobody cares about your stupid car. And a lot of them, I get a lot of them like that. A lot of them are assholes. They troll me and they make up lies and saying that, oh, I'm still worrying about this. Go outside and enjoy life. Yeah, basically, there's toxicity that exists in that country as well. And it's kind of laughable that Canada tries to be like America. It's just funny. It's hilarious, really. and who cares? I mean, a lot of countries in the world don't give Canada a passing thought, and it's just funny, you know, I don't really think about that country, I know it exists, but I don't think about it. It's like this, if Canada really wants to be better than America, they need to stop acting like Americans, you know, stop being mean, rude, aggressive, passive aggressive, and just be like I say, just be like countries, just like be like people in countries like Latvia, because people in Latvia are friendly. They'll just come up and talk to you, regardless of where you are, and won't form friendships, be friends with you. And I think Canada needs to be like that. They don't need to be like the U.S. But it's like this. I mean, Canada is basically another USA. You know, a person from a person from Canada who I'm friends with told me told me that the U.S. told me that Canada is like the USA, saying that Canada is the USA 2.0. And I said this to him. Well, you got two countries that are both the USA. You got America, the United States of America, which is regular USA. Then you got Canada, which is Diet USA. The United States, regular USA, and Canada, Diet USA. So yeah, and yeah, yeah, and I heard from some Canadians that people in Quebec are unfriendly to one another, are rude and unfriendly, because I guess they hate anglophone people and they want to keep their unique French culture, you know, and they're trying to be like France. It's kind of funny. Like, these people will never be like France. I don't care. It's funny. And I heard this from France 24 English, from a woman named Florence Villamotte on this show called French Connection on France 24 English on YouTube. It's just basically a short little show about two women who are the host. Florence Villamotte and Jeannie Gaudia. Jeannie Gaudia is from the United States, and she lives in France with her family. And Florence Villamotte is a native person of France. And they talk about French culture and how the French are, and a lot of things about France. And Florence Villamotte pointed out that Quebecois French that's spoken in Quebec is very pure, and is real and authentic, and it's real and authentic compared to metropolitan French that's spoken in France. Yeah, I ran into some French people in France, and the majority of them are friendly, and they are. You know, some say that they are rude, because the fact that anglophone people just say a lot of things that are just not rude, and they're not polite. That's why they're rude to them. They just don't say anything. They just judge them. I probably will go through this if I was in France. I was in France. In a small town in northwestern France called Le Havre. You know, I had a good experience there. Nothing bad happened. It is what it is. It's the fact that French people don't make eye contact with one another. They don't. I mean, that's because why? That's because some people outside the country, outsiders, say that the French are rude. And that's bullshit. The French people are friendly. It's the Quebecois and Quebec who are unfriendly. You know, you know, and you know, and people in France, you know, like to make fun of French speakers, francophone people, and other French-speaking countries. You know, and it's kind of funny. You know, you know, the truth is, you know, the French people are more are friendlier compared to the people in Quebec and Canada. So yeah, if I want to go to a francophone country, I mean, I'm gonna choose France over Quebec in Canada. Well, Quebec is a province in Canada, so that's all I gotta say in this video. I want to give a big fuck you to Crusader Wolf and every hardcore patriot who don't see what I see in this country. So fuck them. Alright, that's all I gotta say in this video. Thank you for watching.